again, we want to kind of take a breath. There's no time to take a breath right now. Yes, breathe, take your moments to breathe, but don't take a pause and just wait. And this idea of this session, Getting Next, has been one that I've been doing for almost as long as I've been doing the 10 Words program. 10 Words, as some of you guys know, is a program based on my history and my background and some struggles and challenges I went through, and then how I tried to come out the other side and grow and develop and continue on with my business, which has been 16 years plus now. You know, am I rich from doing what I do? No. Do I have a lot of money in the bank? I don't even have money in the bank, never mind a lot. So thank you for buying your discounted TPG Pro memberships, and thank you for paying off any balances that you have. I appreciate it, because that helps me to continue to do the things that we're doing for you guys. This session and some of the complimentary sessions that we have, I'm crediting to our annual sponsors, because without our annual sponsors, to be very honest with you, we would not be able to be functioning right now. The fact of the matter is that there are a handful of brands, there are many brands who participate in our programming and sponsor our programming, but there are a few brands who have been with us for a very long time, but also are continuing with us this year and have paid to be a part of our programming this year. Scandinavia, Cinema Secrets, Senna Cosmetics, Temp 2, The Makeup Light, and new to the Powder Group's community of sponsors is Royal and Land Nickel, and their Omnia brush set is amazing, so you'll check that out. Those are our full year sponsors. Those are people who have basically sponsored everything we're doing this year. So because of them, I'm able to participate and allow these other programs to happen and pay artists to do them and be really able to support you guys. So please, please don't forget to make sure we're thanking our sponsors for all of our programs, as we always do, but especially right now, because you know, I'm very transparent, as you all know, and there would be no The Powder Group after this year if it was not for these sponsors and our advertisers, because I don't make enough money doing what we do without that sponsorship support. So minus the stuff that we can do to make money, then the sponsors become the main thing. Thank you for the heart for all of our sponsors. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. And this program in particular, I thought was really a really special way to kick off the next 6 weeks of programs. The programs that we have coming up are going to be incredible. We've got a 3-part series with Joanne McDonough, and that's going to be 3 different hour sessions on 3 different Sundays over every other week, 6-week period. We have, starting this Tuesday evening, we have a session with James Vincent. If you participated in his mindful action session about a week ago, James is continuing that programming with 3 separate sessions that all tie into that idea of mindful action. So that's going to start on Tuesday, and that's going to be 3 Tuesdays. Then we have, you might know him as Michelle Obama's makeup artist. Carl Ray is going to be doing a session with us. You might know him as the department head for Saturday Night Live. Louisa Carrion is doing a session with us. You might know her from Around the World Beauty. Stephanie Floor is doing it. We have Eugenia Weston from Senna. We have Alphonse Weibelt from Muse and Esom. We have Sheila McKenna doing something with us from Ket Cosmetics. And we've got a lot more we're going to announce. And of course, Le Maestro Danny Sands will be wrapping all of our sessions up on Saturday, June 13th. So we will be doing more programming as we move forward, and we will be paying, I will be paying artists, but we will be asking for payments for some of these programs. All the ones that are happening in the spring session are free for you guys though. So make sure that you share that $67.50 amazing 1-year offer so that all of your friends who are artists who maybe saw that $135 for 2 years as a barrier for them, let them know that for a lower investment, they get to take advantage of all these upcoming programs. You know, Priya had said to me, we should cap it at 100. I said, no, I want it to be whoever can be there, whoever can participate. As many of our members can be a part of this, I want to experience it. So I'm really excited about the next couple months worth of programming and everything we have coming up after that. When we can get back together in person, I can't wait to give everybody big hugs, but for now it's virtual hugs and lots of love to you guys. So I want to kick this session off with, I'm going to take you guys through, I was going to do a shared screen on it. And to be very honest, it's just like the whole shared screen thing. I'm going to do it for other programs, but for this one, I just want to talk to you guys. I think that, you know, this idea of getting next and the idea of movement forward is a real challenge for us right now. You know, I've asked a lot of our school partners and some of our artists and some of our educators, what's your next program? What's your next job? Like, when are you opening the school again? And every single answer that I've gotten has been, well, right now it looks like the June session for summer, or right now it looks like I've got one bride left in June, a couple in July, and all the rest before that have moved their dates. We know one thing for sure is that we don't know anything about what's going to be next. So the only thing we can do is plan for two things. One, I call our next normal. Everyone calls about the new normal, talks about the new normal, the new normal. The new normal is going to be a year from now. That's what the new normal will be. And I personally feel, and I'm not a scientist, shocking, I know you're shocked to hear I'm not a scientist, but it's not logical to me that once we have a vaccine and that once we have a treatment for this problem that we're all experiencing globally with COVID-19, it would seem to me that once we can treat this, we will probably be back closer to what it looked like 4 months ago than it will in 3 or 4 months from now. So right now we've got the new normal, which will be maybe 2021. And we've got the next normal. We've got the next normal. And the next normal, I don't call it that because I'm doing a program called Getting Next. I've been calling it that all for the last couple of weeks because, you know, we're talking about barbicide and how we can, you know, sterilize. We're talking about how we use masks and PPE. We're talking about how we function as a business, whether we're in production with which Priya and Debbie Zoller and people who work in TV and film can say 4 or 6 months down the road, it looks like, before they're going back to work. And then there's going to be all kinds of things with OSHA and all kinds of different ways they have to work. Bridal clients, maybe they want to have their weddings done, but there's going to be a whole new set of ideologies about it. Joanne McDonough and Tammy Bernard and I have had separate conversations about the plans that they're making and the policies and procedures they're putting in place so that they can protect their brides. So what I want you guys to do is not look at your calendars and say, shit, I don't have any clients for the next 3 months. What I want you to do is, we keep calling this, and one of our participants in the one-on-one sessions called it a break. They said, well, you know, during the break, I really want to focus on, and I was like, oh, I like that. It's a break. Andrew Cuomo calls it the pause, our New York governor. He says it's a pause, and it is a pause, and it is a break. There's absolutely been no time ever in the history of the world and the history of our industry in particular, where every single person working in the industry, every cosmetics company, every makeup artist, every hairstylist, every production, every show, every fashion event, everything has stopped. There's never been a time. 9/11, we paused, but there were people all over the world still working while we took a greater pause in New York. After the financial situation in 2008, 2009, sure, rates dropped like a rock. They dropped. Sure, productions got canceled or postponed. Sure, you know, there was less money to go around, but everything kept moving. This is the first time every single one of your colleagues is not working. The one that was working, V. Neal, isn't working. Debbie Zoller isn't working because there's nothing to do. There's no jobs to have. So you have a very, very special opportunity as artists and as business communities. You all have this opportunity to plan. You have this opportunity to plan. So I'm really proud that I know very few TPG Pro members who are sitting around Netflixing all day. I do love a good Netflix binge. Please don't tell me I don't. I love it. And by the way, is anyone watching Outer Banks? It is like, I'm like, how is this not? It's like almost like it's crazy. It's like it's like, remember Revenge? It's like Revenge, but with teenagers. It's crazy. But I love it. And like, we're totally obsessed with it. And I love a binge watch, but you know when I binge watch? At 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And you know what I'm doing during the week, all day, every day, working and hustling and making sure that I'm taking care of you guys and making sure that I'm taking care of our brand partners who've been supportive of us and making sure that as we all go into this time where it's this huge question mark about when are we going to be back to normal? When are we going to be able to work again? What I want to do is I want to talk about this. And I looked through the stuff on Getting Next, and I thought to myself, do I need to shift or change anything in this process? Do I need to change the way that I'm talking about Getting Next for this? And to be very honest, I went through the whole session and looked at all the notes I have on it. And I thought, you know what, there's a slight adjustment to some thinking processes, but really at the end of the day, it's all the same stuff. So what I want to do is I'm going to jump into this. And the reason I gave you guys a lot of, again, I always trick you, right? I give you these tricks. I give you free booze at a pro social, so you'll come and then you'll get to see each other, right? I'm a trickster. I fool you all the time. And this whole first 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, has been about thinking about the reality of our situation, but also in a very big way, it's been thinking about how we process our moment right now. And the other thing it's about is giving you something to look forward at, right? So if nothing else, you all have Danny Sands on Saturday, June 13th. We're all going to be on a Zoom, and she's going to be talking about reinvention and how to continue with your passion and your heart. And you know that that's, what, 6-7 weeks away, but we know something's there. And we know Joanne's coming, and James is coming, and Alphonse is coming, and all these great presentations. There's a whole other series we're doing after that I'm not even going to tell you about yet. But it's going to be amazing. As we go through the summer, we're going to have great stuff for you guys that's free, and great stuff for you guys that's going to be very low cost, so that we can start to bring some revenue back in. But I want you to start thinking about what's next for you. I want you to think about this. If I stopped and just didn't do anything for a while, we wouldn't be sitting here today. We wouldn't have a plan for what's next. We wouldn't have our programming shifting toward the end of the year and into 2021. Because for me, it's really critical. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. If I'm not going to just shut it down now, then I better have a way to figure out what's coming next and how I'm going to get back to where I need to be. So my question to you is, are you going to shut it down? Okay, because if you're not going to shut it down, because Jennifer's shaking her head no. She's saying, no, I'm not going to shut it down. And Wendy's shaking her head, no, I'm not going to shut it down. So if you're not going to shut it down, yes, it's great to get your studio together. Yes, it's great to do your taxes. Yes, it's great to have all your things organized. Yes, I know Lisa Maloney and I both are going through this, like, how do you move your house during a pandemic? That's a lot of fucking fun. But these are the things we're doing, right? We're all keeping busy. We're all getting up in the morning and taking showers and getting dressed, right? Nod, yeah, right. I know Melissa, she looked so cute the other day on our session. I was like, hey. It's really important, guys. It's psychological. It's psychological. Get up every morning and do your stuff. Get up every morning and reach out and do that. We're going to talk a little bit about it now. Because we're not taking any questions during the session, I am going to give you guys an email address that you can email me afterward. It is gettingnext@thepowdergroup.com. So if there's a question, and it's not, Michael, how can I build my career during the pandemic? Because that's not a question I'm going to answer by email for you. Sorry. If there's a question about something I say or there was a lack of clarity on my part, I will be happy to answer that email for you. Give me a little minute of time. So I don't know if I'll get 1 or 2 emails or a dozen or 2 dozen, but make sure that's really important. So gettingnext@thepowdergroup.com is the one way that you can actually ask questions during this session or after the session, okay? So please do. I encourage you to. The other thing I'm going to encourage you guys to do is a lot of the folks that I see on here, a lot of these faces, I just love you guys and I love these faces. I love these names. I love seeing your names pop up in my emails or on my Facebook page or my comments, even my underwear pic from a couple weeks ago. Whatever it is, like, I love if I can see your faces and get you in my realm. Make sure you're not forgetting that TPG Pro Facebook group. Because while you guys are here, there's a lot of people who are taking their kids or their family or are working. We have a lot of healthcare professionals in our group, and I am so proud of them. And just so you guys know, and I haven't announced it officially yet, but I did tell one of our nurse artists, I call them nurse artists or medical practitioner artists. We're going to be doing a free program for all of our medical professionals live and live in front of people, and then also broadcasting that for all of our medical professionals who are within our community or anyone who is a medical professional on the front lines right now who is dealing with this for us, and who might want to investigate the career of makeup artistry. So we're going to do some stuff. So if you have nurse practitioners or people in that realm in your world who have ever expressed an interest in being a part of the makeup industry or the makeup artist industry, please let me know and shoot me a note, and we're going to comp them a TPG Pro membership, and we're going to get them into a program that we're going to do to help them understand how they can get involved with the industry. So I think that's kind of a neat thing we're going to be doing for those folks out there kicking ass for us during this situation. If you need to get off the line here during the time, I'm going to go a little later than an hour, obviously. I'm definitely going to do that. But I just want to make sure you know my feelings aren't hurt. I totally understand. You got to go, you got to go. And just make sure that, again, shoot me a note if you have any questions, any comments. Please, any comments about this session or questions, only use gettingnext@thepowdergroup.com. I'm really trying to keep things really kind of tightly focused during this time. So this is a session that some of you have gone through already. And, you know, for me, a lot of our programming only works because we engage with each other, because I'm getting feedback, because I'm engaging with you, you're looking at me, you're talking to each other. And so this is a session that I'm going to kind of go through and give you some information and some details about how we would normally do the program. But keep in mind that this program I've done as a 2-hour session in person. I've done it at schools as an hour session. I've also done it as a full day program where each of these things we're going to talk about are broken out and sort of gone through as a whole topic and a whole area of focus for the group. So take this information, and maybe if you're already partnered with somebody through TPG because of the goal setting session, take some time over the next little while and jump into some of these questions and some of these ideas. If you're not part of that goal setting session, get a friend in TPG Pro that you're friends with, or shoot me an email and say, hey, I'd love to link up with somebody who I can maybe talk to about these things. I'm new to the program. I'm just joining into TPG, and I'd love to engage with some of the other artists, and I'll try to link some folks up, okay? So this session is made up of a bunch of sort of catchphrases. And I was gonna, like I said, I was gonna share the screen, and then I was like, oh no, I printed them because I love printing, and I was like, oh, I'll hold them up. And I was like, oh no, because you guys can only read that backwards, right? Can you read that the right way or backwards? You can read it? Oh, good, okay. For some reason, oh, you know why? Because in my thing, it's backwards, but that's because I'm looking like a mirror. I'm pretty, but not very smart. Don't laugh at that, Yenowin. So this is the first one. Without you, you're nothing. Without you, you're nothing. The inseparability of you and your development. So it would be ironic for me to say that you are the only person who has to make your business happen. But at the end of the day, and I always am very proud of the fact that we always talk about the fact that we at the Powder Group want each other's success as much as we want our own success, right? Would you guys agree? I know for a fact that you guys really support each other and want each other to succeed. Sometimes that's to your own detriment, you know, and we get that. That's what we do. We take care of each other, and that's important for me and it's important for you. But at the end of the day, that aside, the only person that really needs you to be the biggest success that you can be is you. And you cannot sit back and wait for someone else to do the work. And that's what that means. Without you, you're nothing. The inseparability of you and your development. It's critical. I know Kenya or any of the folks who work with us at the TPG Pro booth, at the Powder Group booth, at shows, at the makeup show would say they totally agree with this. How many times has someone come up to us and say, you know, I joined last year at the makeup show, but nothing's happened. And my first question is, what's your name again? Hi, I'm Michael. What's your name again? Because I can promise you, if they say nothing's happened, I've never seen them at an event. I've never seen them in our Facebook group. And I've never engaged with them other than the time when they gave us $135 for 2 years. So the first thing we do is I say, Kenya, do me a favor. Can you write down Lisa Smith's name and information? We're going to send that to Priya. And we're going to add another year to her membership because this first year was a bust. But now, Lisa, I'm going to tell you what you have to do. You have to do the work. You can, you know, somebody compared it to gym memberships. You can do, how many of you are mad that you have a gym membership that you never use? I mean, before COVID. Before COVID, you pay money every month to go to the gym and I don't go. So I just get rid of the memberships. No one's going to get up and knock on your door and drag you to the gym. No one's going to get up and make you go to the TPG Facebook group. No one's going to make you engage. No one's going to make you get on a, get in your car and go to an event where other artists are going to be connecting with you. That's not going to happen. So you've got to make that action happen yourself. All for one and one for all. That's the other one. All for one and one for all. Don't go it alone. Well, that one's logical, right? That one's incredibly logical with this community. As I said, sometimes I trick you guys. I trick you into coming to stuff because I give you booze, or I say, hey, this event is sponsored by Scandinavia, and you go, oh shit, Alan is always giving us product. Every time he does anything, I'm gonna go because I know I'm gonna get some product because I love that product, right? So we trick you into getting together, but at the end of the day, this is a career where, maybe you're working on a team that has 6 or 7 or 8 artists on it, on a production. Maybe you're working on a bride where you've got 2 support team members working with you. But at the end of the day, really, you're there focusing on your business. And this is as I look at this screen and I keep scrolling back and forth and seeing all these amazing faces and these great artists, this is like the take no prisoners, kick ass community, man. It knocks me on my ass. It really does. If anybody hasn't seen Allison Hoag on CNN talking about running a business in Georgia right now, that's amazing. That's our girl. She presented for us at the Artist Summit. She was a part of our Beyond Limits program that Sarah did out on the West Coast with me. These are your colleagues. These are the people. But, all for one and one for all means Allison's still there for you while she's getting her star on the Walk of Fame at CNN, because she's on air 3 times now talking about how this is affecting her business. And that's pretty amazing. So understand that while we're all suffering right now, every single one of us is dealing with the difficulty of no work, the difficulty of uncertainty. There's absolutely no time to wallow in our own energy when we can actually be out there supporting each other. And I know for a fact that it feels better when we do something good for other people and we take care of other people than it does if we just sit home and get nervous and get scared. And sometimes it means, putting on the big girl and the big boy pants and saying, you know what? This sucks. This absolutely sucks. I would way rather be gathering with you guys in 2 weeks. Would be having Evolution, my favorite week of the year. Don't tell all the other TPG Pro programs I said that, but I mean, any of you who've participated in Evolution know that is like a moment for all of us. And for me, getting a week with you guys in Provincetown and being able to participate in watching and engaging as you guys are developing deep relationships and a deep understanding of your future and your movement forward, that is my favorite week, and I don't get to do it. And it makes me really sad, and it makes me really mad about this whole scenario. But if I got stuck on that and I just was harping on that, instead, I'm doing this for you guys today. I mean, it's Sunday and I'm gay. I'm supposed to be having brunch right now. Supposed to be having brunch with a cocktail. And let me tell you, I can still have brunch even during the COVID. I had avocado toast this morning, but I didn't have a drink because I'm going to be with you guys. So look at all I'm giving. Look at all I'm giving. This one's real important. I am absolutely good enough. The undeniable influence of self-confidence. Now, one of the things I'm proudest of about our community is the lack of attitude and lack of arrogance. There are some incredible artists in this community. There are some amazing educators and industry leaders in our community who participate with what we do. And there's a humility and a kindness and a truth to every single one of them. But there's also an incredible level of self-confidence. And there's a big difference between arrogance and self-confidence, and we know this, right? Arrogance means I'm the best, I'm better than everyone else. And confidence is I'm damn good. I am great at what I do. So do I want you to be arrogant? No. Do I want you to be confident? Absolutely. But I think right now, and this might sound like I'm being a little sarcastic or a little bit of a smartass, we're all equal. Nobody's got a job. Nobody's working. Nobody's working. Nobody's got a job tomorrow. We're all on the same page. So if you don't think you're good enough, this is a really good moment in time to make yourself good enough. This is a really good moment in time to up your skill set, to develop a stronger website, to develop everything you have to do to get yourself to that next level, because you're never going to be given this opportunity. Well, let's knock on wood. I hope we are never. I pray to whoever you pray to, light some sage, hold a rock, do what you need to do. But let's hope we don't ever have to deal with this again. And if that's the case, you're never going to be given that opportunity again to not have the pressure of, why am I not working? To not have the pressure of, oh, I'm looking at everyone else's social media posts and everyone's at New York Fashion Week and I'm not. I feel so less than everybody else. That's nonsense. Right now, everyone is the same in so many ways. So take this opportunity to get yourself up to speed in every way that you can. Artistically, creatively, technically, and there's so many great programs and so many great educational opportunities out there. Juanita DeWitt and I, in our one-on-one the other day, she was talking about, she said, I am taking every class I can take. Every class I can take. And I said, tell me about these classes. And she's talking about this class and a photography class and all this. The only class she's not going to take is that the programmer, right, Juanita? We're not going to learn how to, no. And I told Lori, I told you that, she's fine. So this is a big deal, right? I think that we can take the opportunity, but I also want you to make sure you're keeping yourself inspired. Look at your favorite museums all over the world. Provincetown Art Association, a museum, is doing something special. And they're going to start doing some digital things. By the way, I'm only telling you guys, nobody else. Shh. We are actually, because we have our creative exploration program that we do in Provincetown with the PAM artists. We had 7 artists this year over 3 days. It was going to be amazing. Unfortunately, given the circumstances, Provincetown is not going to be up and running in the way we'd love it to be in June. So we're not going to be able to do that program. It's going to be in 2021. However, we are going to be doing some special art programs with some of the artists that we were working with in that session. And take a guess how much it's going to cost TPG Pro members. $0. That's right, Danielle Perry. 0, no money. Because Pam loves you guys, I love you guys, and not only do I want you to understand that you should be upping your game and becoming the best you can possibly be in all these different ways, technically and business-wise, but I also want you to take a breather and take a breath for yourself and allow yourself to find artistic inspiration. Sarah Regano and the programs that she does online and through her lives for Form and Light up at Skyrise Farm are incredible. So if you're not following her, follow her at Form and Light. Amazing. And these are the pieces. Arali, Moon and the Muse, James Vincent, Erica Lee is doing coaching sessions and stuff. Like these are things that you can actually think about. How do I get out of my own way? And how do I, even if I'm tricking myself, how do I distract myself from the terror that I'm feeling about the future? Because if you're not a little bit afraid of what's coming next or not coming next, I think you're probably living with blinders on. I don't know the answer, but I do know that we're going to keep moving. And then eventually, I'm hoping everything is going to roll back in the way it does. But if we're not preparing for that by getting ready as best as we can, that's a big deal, and it's a problem. Well, I can't see me now because I moved my thing. Hang on, where am I? I want to make sure. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Honesty is the best policy. Fake it till you make it is not a business plan. Did you hear that? Fake it till you make it is not a business plan. I know for a fact that there's a lot of people out there saying, how are you feeling? Are you okay? I hope that each of you, as you start a business conversation or engage with someone, you reach out to a photographer you've worked with or a client that you haven't worked with. I hope the first thing you're talking about is, are you good? How are you? How are you in yours? Are you safe and are you well? They all have the same fears. It doesn't matter. Everybody in this industry. Listen, there's a lot of folks out there who are working right now. And now I'm not just talking medical professionals and first responders. There are people in finance and people in the cosmetics industry in the back end. There are people in manufacturing. There are people at Amazon and Target and all these. They're making money. They're living their life. So how are you engaging in a way that allows you to feel like you are not the only person in this. And being honest about your feelings is really important. And, you know, I'm not a therapist, although I pretend to be sometimes. And my husband's always like, you're not a fucking therapist. And I'm like, yes, I am. Don't tell him I said that. He's not here. So for me, be honest. Share your feelings. If I may be so bold as to make a suggestion, there's something that's a little bit overwhelming about the amount of fear and energetic negativity that we see in social media. We can think about coronavirus as a big fake news story. We can think about the 2020 election. We can think about all the things that are going right and going wrong. And a lot of them are going wrong right now for us in the world as a whole. And finding ways to be positive and engaging about your future is a really, really strong way to make sure that you're being seen. The perception, we'll talk about perception in a few minutes. It's a really good way to be sure that you're being seen as someone who is elevating themselves through this time and not putting themselves down here. Does that mean, I just said honesty is the best policy, and I'm saying, but don't talk about how afraid you are. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if it's the only thing you're doing, it can come across in a very, very, negative is not the right word, so I apologize, a disconcerting way. I've checked in with people personally that I've seen on social media that I thought have kind of lost it a little bit, and I've messaged them privately and said, hey, I just want to check in. Are you okay? Yeah, why do you think I'm not okay? And I'm like, because there's something happening, and it's happening for all of us. So being there to support people is really critical. Asking for support is even more critical. My feeling is, and we all see, we know the ones who post too much. And I don't know if you saw my little post the other day. You post too much. That was about 2 people in particular, one of them me, and someone else. Etsia, don't even go there. But for me, if you're posting every minute of every day and responding on everything every day, you're not working on you. You're not working on you. So what I want you to do is take a deep breath, step back. After our Zoom session, you can step away from your computer and your phone, and I want you to make yourself a plan. I want you to make yourself a plan for business, but I also want you to make yourself an emotional, energetic plan. And I want you to find the person that you can talk to and say, this is the thing. Right now, I'm not okay. Or I had a conversation with someone the other day, one of my one-on-ones, and this artist said to me, I feel really bad, but I'm actually okay. I'm okay. I'm in a lucky place. I've got a partner who has financial income, and we're not afraid of losing our house. I've got food on the table. My kids are okay. I'm okay. And I feel badly that other people aren't okay, and I am. And my answer was, well, that is an incredibly sad thing that you feel badly that you're okay. Maybe use that energy and help other people find a way to be okay, because I don't have any money to give you guys. I can't say, if you're needing something, call me and I'll send you some cash so you can pay your rent. I have to worry about my end too, right? That's why I can do things like give you an extra 6 months of your membership, so that way we can catch up again once this is all over. Give you free programs so you can participate and be a part of each other's lives, even when you're not next to each other. But it's okay not to be okay during this time, but I also want you to give yourself permission to be okay. There's a lot of people in this industry who are working hard and looking forward, and you shouldn't feel badly that you're working hard and moving forward, even though it's a struggle. So take a breath on that and be honest with yourself about that, but come up with a plan, an honesty plan, an honest way of communicating and engaging as you move forward, so you understand how it is that you can actually be truthful and honest with other people, share, and make sure that you're doing your part to support them. This one goes without saying, and I already talked about it. Make time for your homework. Preparation makes for the best laid plans. Make time for your homework. Well, thank you, COVID-19. You gave us all time for our homework. Done. I can move on. Do unto others. Give as well as you get. Give as well as you get. There's a logic to that. And we talk about this all the time. And I want you to think about this in a way. I just said, I can't give you guys money. I had someone email me the other day and say, hey, Michael, we have a mutual friend and they're really having a rough time right now. I've been dropping food off at their house and this is their Venmo. And even if you could spare $5 or $10, I know it would mean a lot. And I said, and as I always do, and please, I hope you take this in a positive way, not a negative way, my first message was to Priya. And I said, can you tell me if this person is a TPG Pro member? And she says, no. I said, have they ever been? She said, no. I said, okay. And the artist is an artist I really appreciate and I love her. But I said to her, I said, listen, I am so grateful and I'm so touched that you are reaching out on this person's behalf. Everyone's struggling. My people are struggling. And I don't have $5 to give Angel and Rachel and Taryn. I don't have $5 to give someone who has never, ever done anything for my community, has never been a part of my world. Just because we have a shared LinkedIn contact does not mean we're friends, sadly. But at the end of the day, if that person was a TPG Pro member, I would not have given them $5 or $10. I would have reached out to them and said, how can I support you without money? What can I do to support you? Do you want a one-on-one? Let's talk. Because I can give you my time and energy, but I don't have money to give. And if I start to give one person money, then how does that make everyone else feel? So for me, it's not financial. And I've talked about this with a lot of other business leaders in our industry and people who have said, Michael, what do we do? This is our family. And I said, it is our family. So we have to do what we can do. But none of these other business leaders have time and energy and money to give right now. Sorry, let me rephrase that. They don't have money to give right now. They can spend time and energy. And so that's what we're trying to do as a community, right? So I want you to think about this. While you are having a tough time or not so tough a time, someone else is having a really tough time. Someone else is having a much more difficult time. So maybe just start to see and start to be open and visually see through social media on their posts, who's okay, who's having a tough time, and reach out and say, hey, I know we don't know each other well, but I was doing this goal program with Michael and it was really helpful. Can I jump on a call with you? I'm all in on that. So find ways that you can give and remember that this is a time, and it's been said in so many different ways across many industries, we will be remembered by how we behaved during this time. We will be remembered by how we treated people during this time. And anyone who has known me more than 10 minutes knows that whether you like me or you don't like me or you love me or you hate me, I'm all honest and I'm all in. And this is me and this is what you're going to get. Oh, Wendy loves me. Thank you. So at the end of the day, if you feel like being there for other people does not feel authentic to you, then just do you. But at the end of the day, when I say people remember who you are and what you represent and what you stand for as a person and a business based on what is happening right now and how you are behaving right now, I hope you guys understand. And as I said, if you know me for 10 minutes, you know it's just all authentic. It's all who I am. And this session and the sessions we're doing are to make my business survive and to make our community survive. But also, it's all I can do. I want nothing else but to be able to support you guys during this time. And so thank you for all of you who've been participating and continue to support each other. This is the last one of these, and then we've got a few bullet points to go through. Me, myself, and I. It really just boils down to the three of us. So that's an ironic slide in a lot of ways. And when I talk about that session, talk about that slide in my sessions, I have to clarify it. I certainly do not mean that you're in it alone. In fact, the first thing I talk about here is making sure you don't go it alone, right? Don't go it alone. What I mean here is that you are in a very special place being a makeup artist or a hairstylist or someone in this industry. And that place is someone who every single one of your things you do on a job are self-contained. They're here, they're here, they're in your kit. It's your heart, your soul, your artistic drive, your creativity. And if you've got to design a show, I don't know, maybe Fosse Verdon, Debbie Zoller, and you've got to spend months doing it, and you've got dozens and dozens of looks over decades to design, you're not doing that alone. You've got a great team of people. You've got great artists to execute the looks. But at the end of the day, all of that energetic stuff, all of the things are here. And while I'm telling you to be generous and to give of your time, this slide is really about not forgetting to take care of you. And when we talk about me, myself, and I look at that as this beautiful trifecta, right? It's about me and who I am. It's about my work and what I put out. And it's about how I stay connected and inspired. So all these pieces all kind of fold in together. So don't forget that piece. While I'm telling you, make sure you're out there. And this is what makes me a little crazy about folks who are on social media. And I try to be on there, but you'll notice I'm not always, shockingly, right now, I'm not always giving my opinion. I might say something political. I may say something socially, relevant. I may make a stupid joke or something inappropriate. Okay. Hi, welcome to Michael. But at the same time, what I want to make sure I'm doing is not sitting in front of my computer all day. And I have, I made a comment, I made a post, this is going back a few months, maybe a couple months. And I said, I realized today that I don't need to comment on everything I agree or disagree with. I don't. And during this time, I have really struggled to not fight with people who are saying that social distancing doesn't help, and not fight with people who say it's not as bad as the flu, and not fight with people. I've just realized that people are going to have their process and do their thing, but I need to work on me. I need to focus on me. I need to focus on my community, and I need to focus on what's important to me. So take the time to do that, but don't do it all online. Be really strategic. One of the things I did when I did this, the program we're announcing tomorrow, I might be later today if we can sort all the details, final details. It's called the Powder Group Online. It's our upcoming programs and the way we're going to start doing business in a secondary way going forward anyway. And one of the things I did was I spread things out. They're not all in a row. They're not all on the same day of week. Some are on Sundays at 1 with Joanne, James at 7 o'clock Eastern on Tuesdays. We've got Carl and Louie at 4 o'clock on a Thursdays. We've got Danny at her time, 7 o'clock, our time, or 6 o'clock, our time in New York, noon, on a Saturday. So we all have different needs, we all have different responsibilities, but what I didn't want you to do is sitting in front of your laptop for 5 days in a row at 12 o'clock, because we've got other stuff to take care of. So me, myself, and I is really about self-focus and self-preservation and self-development. So keep that there. So I'm going to post this on our TPG Pro page. I'm going to post the text because this is the stuff that comes from this program. And when we do this program in person, each of these sections are assigned a task. So I'm going to give you guys some tasks. We're not going to go through them. And at the end of this, I'm not going to say, like I did with the goal session, if you send me all of your tasks, if you finish this, I will do this. No, the reward here is you getting the information and actually using it and making sure that you're doing this stuff. Like I said, you want to connect with one of your colleagues, you want to talk to your husband, you want to talk to your friend in the industry, awesome. But this is for you, and this is for you to use as a way of making your next step. So the first thing we talk about is insisting on success. Insisting on success. For me, and I'll just share with you the task here. The task here is to define what does success mean for you. What is success for you? If I may, what I would love is if you guys would, if you're going to do these tasks, what I want you to do is I want you to think about the tasks in a way, if you did this in January or February, if you took this program with me in January, think about what would success mean to you? And then define it for today. Because I'll tell you what my success will be right now, that there is the Powder Group in 2021. That's going to be good. If we could all make it through this, we're all good, right? Maybe it's the cover of a magazine still. Maybe it's an Emmy or an Oscar. Maybe it's getting your first Broadway show. Maybe it's working on a film for the first time. Maybe it's the same thing. But insist on your success means that you have to define it first and understand what exactly is going to help define what success means. Does that make sense, guys? So for me, one of the things is, and this gets into very specific stuff. Some of you have read 10 Words or taken the program. And I said 2 years ago, I'm going to put it on audio. So I'm speaking it. And then I also said, oh, maybe I'll do it digitally too. But no, I like the book. I want to hold the book. And so for me, getting next, this program into print and into audio, and getting 10 Words into audio by the end of this year is going to be one of the things that defines a very specific thing for success for me. But I wasn't being sarcastic when I said, I hope that our brand partners are so happy with what we've done together this year in this situation that's been so difficult for everyone. I hope that they're like, Michael, money's coming back in. We're going to be there to support you guys again. I hope that you guys are so happy with what we're doing and so happy with our community that you guys are there supporting each other and supporting the Powder Group and continuing on with what we do together in 2021. That is success for me. But also, and this sounds like I'm being melodramatic, which I'm incredibly good at. But for me, my success right now is defined by you guys making it through this period. My success right now is defined by my community, 101 people on this session, moving forward and making sure that they are not giving up. That's success for me. So next question, what do you want? What do you want? The task here is going to be making a list. Make it long. Make a lot of things on this list. And I didn't say, what do you want in your career, did I? I don't think I heard myself say that. I said, what do you want? So when we talk in these programs, sometimes people feel like they have to have very important things that they want, right? Yes, the end of COVID-19. Yes, world peace. Yes, Donald Trump not to be our president. All of these are important things to want, right? So, but if you want a boat, write down, I want a fucking boat. If you want a bigger house, write down, I want a house. If you want to have a kid, say, I want to have a kid. Like, this is not about being important or having a voice that says something magically that's going to move people. It's literally figuring out what it is you want. What do you want? The next one is, what are you waiting for? Which is a little bit ironic. And this is the one I said, do I even include this one right now? Because we are in a place where we're going to be waiting. We're going to be waiting until OSHA says how we can go back to a production. We're going to wait until a church says, here's how we can celebrate together. We're going to wait for us to get that house until we can go into a house and look at a house, because you can't even do that in New York State right now. You can only look at homes virtually. So what are you waiting for? If you asked yourself 4 months ago, maybe it's, I have to take a class in special effects, or I've got to get this many more hours so I can become a union member, or I'm teaching this course, and as soon as I save enough money, I'm going to stop teaching so I can focus full time on my artistry. There's a lot of things that we're waiting for, but right now we're in a very strange place because all those things get added on top of the fact that we have to wait till this health scenario is past us. So I think that for me, sometimes also falls into the next one. And that next one is, what is your roadblock? So some of us are helping care for elderly parents. Maybe some of us are working 18 hours a day on the front lines during the COVID-19 situation. Maybe some of us are waiting for our school to allow us to go back to school. But there's also some stuff that's roadblocks, right? Things that are in our way. And in the session, when it's a live session, when it's a group session, we talk about this and we say, what are the roadblocks? What are the things in your way? So what I really want you to focus on here as a task is thinking about things in two different ways. The first way is tangible. right? If you want to take a course in special effects and you don't have the money to take the course, you're waiting for the money. The roadblock is lack of money. If you have children who are 6 or 7 or 8 years old, and so you've got another maybe 8 years before they're really at an age where you can leave them for a couple days with dad or your mom or whoever. And until then, it's going to be really hard to go work New York Fashion Week if you live in Detroit, because you got to take care of that family every day. So maybe you're waiting for your kids. You've got kids, they're a roadblock. Listen, family members, husbands, wives, these can all be things that are roadblocks. They're not negative. It didn't say that a roadblock has to be considered negative. But a roadblock is something that's in your way. And if there's a roadblock, generally speaking, there's a detour. And so what I want you to think about is, if you've got this roadblock, what are the things that allow you to detour around it? What are the things that get you on the path, even if you've got to go around the way a little bit? And I think that there's tangible, and those are the things that are easier to get around. And then there's intangible: lack of confidence, fear of failure, fear to be laughed at. I'm not going to do a live because, oh, what if I mess it up? Well, let me explain something. I'm seeing a lot of lives, and there's a lot of them being messed up. So yours ain't going to be that bad. So find the things that are your roadblocks and find the ways that you can detour around them. One of the things I enjoy most about this program when it's in a room and I've got a group of people to do it with is this particular question. Because, when I say, talk to me a little bit, Dawn, about what are some of the things that are roadblocks for you. And she says, well, I don't know if I'm good enough. And then the entire room goes, oh my God, me too. Because we all think everybody else feels really confident. And then we sit in a room with 12, 15, 30 people, and we realize that nobody feels confident, that everyone's worried about what their next job is. They're some of the biggest artists in the industry. And I'm very fortunate that I have the great, great pleasure of being friends with some of our most amazing icons. And some of these people, you would be shocked. If they don't see something on their calendar for 6 months, they're terrified they're never going to work again. Meanwhile, you're sitting there going, I want to be just like you when I grow up. Isn't that ironic? Isn't that crazy? That we've got people thinking the way we're thinking, and they are the ones we look to and say, I want to be just like you. I want a career like yours. When I have the opportunity and the great honor of speaking to students, one of the first things I talk about is, who's here because they want to be rich? Raise your hand. Who's here because they want to be famous? Raise your hand. And fortunately, the schools that I work with, Makeup Forever Academy, Cosmix, Makeup First, there are not a lot of people. Makeup Designery, there's not a lot of people in there who go, oh, I'm here because I want to be famous. Because that energetic need is going to be a roadblock. That's going to be a roadblock, because until you see yourself getting to that level, until you see yourself getting to that place, you're going to feel unsuccessful. And that's a really tough place to be. Fifth one on this: be surrounded with support. I don't even have to talk about that one, because you guys are all sitting here together right now. And I want you to be looking around while you're on this session with me. And I want you to look at who of your colleagues are here. Take a picture of the screen if you want. Take a picture and scroll to the next one. Take a picture and scroll to the next one. And reach out and say, hey, Andrea, that was a session, huh? Man, Michael can talk for fucking hours without taking a breath. It's unbelievable. But you know what? I need to surround myself with support. And I've always found you to be really supportive. Can I talk? Can we talk? Can we chat for a bit? Reach out to some of your colleagues, because everyone's got a pause. Everyone's got a moment. You are surrounded by support. And I said to you guys, make sure you jump back into that TPG Pro Facebook group, because that TPG Pro Facebook group, try again, is the place where it doesn't matter. We've got Honorina in Paris. Danny and Honorina are hanging in Paris right now. And Honorina is at, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock tonight. And she's here talking to us. So you can connect with her through our Facebook group, and you can talk to her like, what's it like being an artist in Paris? Does it suck right now? Like, this is crazy. Like, how is everything? This is a community that we have that really is global, but it really has, for me, what's more important about it is everyone is on different levels. And I don't mean levels by a level of importance. And I know you guys know that, but I'm gonna say it anyway. What I mean is everybody's coming from a different place. Everyone's got a different need. Everyone's got a different thing that defines a success. Everyone's got different stuff that's standing in their way. But the one thing I know for a fact, we have a fee. There's a fee to be a TPG Pro member. And that fee is a wall that keeps people who aren't serious out and lets people who are serious in. And it sounds so silly, but it is a wall. It makes it, if you're really serious about this career, you're going to invest in the community. And if you're investing in the community, you know that other like-minded artists are here with you. So what better place to find your support? I'm going to also say, if you are finding other places unsupportive, get out. I don't know why you think by having 45 Facebook groups you're a part of, that makes you special or important or cool or gives you something to do. Because I'll tell you this, the only Facebook groups I go in now are ours. So you want to be a makeup artist, the Powder Group events, and TPG Pro. I go into In My Kit because Kevin's brilliant and Kevin's got incredible information there and he's got a very committed community, but I don't go in another single group. Sometimes I'll post in different groups if we have something coming to a market, but I don't spend time there. I invest my time with you guys because I know you're serious and I know you take it seriously. And that's a big deal for me because I don't have time to waste. Do you? Right now, I'm busy. I'm busy and y'all are busy doing stuff, getting ready for next. So next thing I'm gonna say is ask for it. Ask for it. And this one goes along with take a long shot. So if you've read 10 words or you've seen me speak and do the 10-word session, long shot is one of my favorite words. And I know it's a hyphenated word, but I get to call it a word if I want. So long shot is really important. And one of the things I talk about when I talk about this session in person is I say, and I can say this about this session as well. I am 100% sure that if I did not take a long shot about 16 years ago, that we would not be sitting here together today. If I didn't take another long shot 18 years ago, no, longer now, almost 19 years ago, where I left my really nice cushy job at Mac, left to start my own business. If I didn't take that long shot, we wouldn't be here right now. If I didn't ask Shelly Tagar randomly at the end of a meeting about the Powder Group doing something at one of their events at Metropolitan Pavilion in New York, if I didn't take a long shot and say, Shelly, I know this is crazy, but I have an event called the Makeup Show, and I'm going to host it here at Metropolitan Pavilion. It's in my business plan, the Makeup Show at Metropolitan Pavilion. I love the space. I've done so many things here. I love being in this space. If I did not take a long shot and say, right now, I don't have the funds to do this, but since you guys are producing more internally, would you be interested in partnering with me on this event? I had known Shelly Tagar for 30 minutes. And I asked her to partner with me on the Makeup Show. And Shelly's answer was, no, let's get through this event we're doing. It was toward the end of the year. It was a Christmas holiday event. She goes, let's get past this, but sure, as soon as this is all past us, let's get back together and talk about it. I said, great. The day after that event ended, I emailed Shelly and said, can we talk about it now? The reason we're sitting here today is because I took a long shot over 17 years ago and 16 years ago at this point and said to Shelly, would you partner with someone you don't know on an event you don't know anything about for an industry, the beauty industry you're not a part of? Would you partner with me on this? Would you consider that a long shot? That's a pretty big long shot. And for me, it's a great example because all the things that came from that and after that, on Makeup Magazine, the Artist Summit, like everything we do, and so much of what our industry is and has become because of the Makeup Show and what James and Shelly and Danessa and all those amazing folks who've taken it on. I don't own the show anymore. Most of you know that. I sold the show to Shelly in full about maybe 11 years ago now. And I'm very happy to be a part of it and speak at it. But if it wasn't for that moment, the show wouldn't exist as it was. There'd be the Makeup Show, but it wouldn't be the way it is now. And we wouldn't be sitting here. So if you don't think a long shot is valuable, you're wrong. And here's what I want to explain about long shots. We all like to be right. I know that I'm looking around right now. There's no one on this screen with me. There's no one on that screen with me. None of you all like to be wrong. You all like to be right. I'm 100% sure of that. So if you are taking a long shot, the likelihood is the answer is going to be no. It's why it's called a long shot. Great reward, unlikely to have happen. So if you take a long shot and the answer is no, well, you were right, right? And we all like to be right. So if you take a long shot and the answer is yes, let's go for it, you're going to be wrong, but who's going to be upset about being wrong in that scenario? You got to go forward and do something exciting that you didn't think you would. So there is absolutely positively no downside to taking a long shot. It's one of these things where like, what have you got to lose? Like literally, what have you got to lose? If there's something that is realistic, and this is an important word, realistic. You want to be a teacher at the Artist Summit. Michael, I want to be on the Artist Summit stage in 2021. Okay. What do you got? Why? That's a long shot, right? But if you've got a good reason and you've got something that's exciting and you've got something I think makes sense and you ask for it, maybe it's a yes, maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, I can promise you something. If you don't ask for it, is it going to happen? Unlikely. Crisser Santley is on with us today, and Crisser and Stephanie Floor came to me about a year ago and said to me, Michael, we think that you should do a program about Latina beauty. I was like, I think I should too. I think it's a great idea. So we incorporated Industry Intensive, and then Chris said, I would love to be involved. I'd love to teach. I'd love to do something. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. So because Crisser said, I would love to present at a session about Latina beauty, she asked for it. Maybe in her head it was a long shot. And I said yes, because it made sense. And she was fabulous. She looked great. She was so chic. Que linda, mi amor. But if she hadn't asked me, I probably wouldn't have asked her. Because I wouldn't have known that was something in her heart. I wouldn't have known that was something that she wanted. Does that make sense, guys? So asking for what you want, provided it's realistic, provided it's not selfish, provided that you're not, being inappropriate with it, is a no-brainer. And the long shots are absolutely necessary. The next bullet point on this is be prepared to succeed, but be prepared to fail. And I think that that's a really, it's a very important one right now. And the one thing that I almost took out of this session during COVID was the idea of being prepared to fail. Not because I want people to understand that failure is okay, but because I felt that there was a layer to that phrasing that gave you permission to let this situation we're in right now dictate that you will fail or succeed. That is not my intention. I kept the phrasing as it was and as it should be, because we have to understand that, and I'm not trying to be like really big thinking about this. Benjamin Franklin tried 1,000 times before he discovered electricity. I don't give a shit what Benjamin Franklin did. I know if I do something and I fail at it, I feel like crap. But at the end of the day, the way that the emotions make us feel, if we fail at something, are a direct reflection of the people that surround us and the support that we have or don't have. Let me ask you guys this, and I'm not asking you to answer it, but I want you to think about how many times you have had a conversation with a colleague. Maybe it's a TPG Pro member, maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's a student, maybe it's somebody on your team for a project. How many times have you been in a situation where someone came to you and said, I'm so upset, and then whatever they said after that basically is, you could define as having failed at something, right? I messed that makeup up. I didn't do it the best I could. I tried to do a live and I couldn't make the technology work. I failed. And they're coming to you not because they want to have you say what? Well, God, yeah. Well, everybody fails sometimes. Chin up. They're coming to you because they need somebody to say, it's okay if you fail. But we know it's okay if you fail, provided that you're not defining yourself by it. This is a period of time right now where if we are not careful, we can definitely find a challenge in determining success and failure. and how we define it. So the first thing on this list was insist on success and define your success, right? How do I define what it means for me to be successful? So that was pretty short-term kind of thinking, a thought process. And what I want you to do is I want you to use this: be prepared to succeed, be prepared to fail. And the task here is to really come up with, in the long term, what does it mean for you to be successful in this career? And what does it mean? What are the things that you might fail at along the way? How might you fail? What is the definition of failure? And what is the definition of how you might see yourself as failing? Is it not getting a job that makes enough money? Is it not being able to survive as only a makeup artist and you have to keep that day job? Right? We got that Monday through Friday job because that's a paycheck and we'd love that money coming in. And then afterward, we have the opportunity to think, and as Danny said, to reinvent. We reinvent what it means to be a makeup artist. We reinvent what it means to have our career. I think that's also very valid to give yourself sort of a scale of failure, right? A scale. Like, okay, so if I fail at a makeup application, it's my fault. I didn't do enough research. I didn't practice it. I didn't study. I didn't know how to do it, and I failed at it. Okay, your fault. 100% practice. Get better at it. I failed at getting a job because someone else got the job. That's not failure. Is that failure? It's not failure. There's 100 artists and one person gets it. There's 100 actors, one actor gets it. It's not failure to not get a job that many people are trying to get. It's failure not to try to get the job. It's failure not to make the effort because you're afraid to not get something. It's a failure to not make the effort because you're afraid that you won't be able to do it successfully. So for me, come up with the scale. What are the things I'm okay failing at? And how do I correct those if I do see that I might fail at something? There's two more, and we're going to wrap up. There is no progress without risk. There is no progress without risk. Well, I'm going to give you guys all credit, because when I said before, is anyone hanging it up? Anybody just wrapping it up and ending this whole career now because of COVID? Everyone was like, nope, I'm going to stay in this. This is my heart. This is my life. This is what I do. This is who I am. Just the fact that after this whole thing, with all the change and all the uncertainty that's going to come next, that you are all 100 people on this session, all prepared to keep moving and keep going. Something about that's a little risky too, isn't there? Would it be safer to say, you know what? Amazon looks real safe right now. I'm about to go get a job at Amazon. I'm going to pack up some boxes for folks. I might even drive for Amazon. I got a cute car. I like driving. I'm going to be a drop-off for Amazon. I'm going to do something that's going to give me money and keep it because I don't need this craziness. No one's saying that. Do what you have to do. Get the job, take some extra money in, dog walk, whatever you need to do to make money to survive and live through this, do it. But remember that the risk is sometimes as simple as continuing on a career that is so uncertain. And honestly, everything I've done in my business has been risky. And it might sound very dramatic to say like every single decision I make, but yeah, it's risky for me to do a program that has 12 artists in one day in LA and try to get, you know, Debbie and Aaron and V and everybody all timed out on the same day. What if it's successful? What if it's not? I can do everything I can do to make it successful, but it's still risky. If I was trying to play it safe, I'd still be doing exactly the same things exactly the same way as I did 10 years ago. And I'd be really, really bored. And I'd be really, really unhappy. And I think you guys would be bored and I think you wouldn't be here. So I'm glad I take risks. I'm glad I do the things we're doing. And I'm excited that you guys are on that path as well. The last thing is this idea of the power of perception. Yeah, Wendy, but you're always excited. The power of perception. I teach a concept called perceived progress, which basically means that, you know, in 2008, Y'all remember what happened in 2008? The financial market crashed, the housing market crashed, everything died. Well, in 2008, I launched On Makeup Magazine, I launched the Artist Summit, and I launched Evolution. So while everybody was shutting things down and closing things down and pulling back on things, I was adding more and more and more. Now, someone might look at that and say, wow, the Powder Group is so successful. Michael must have a lot of money in the bank, but he to do all this stuff. He's very successful. This is a very successful business. But the fact of the matter is, that was right about the time I was writing 10 words because everything was terrifying and I had no money. And I was the definition of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And the fear of failing at something I was going to put 100% of me into was greater than what I was getting out of it. But at the end of the day, I kept moving. And the fact is that if you are spending this time online talking about how, why can't I go back to work? And why can't I go to the salon? And this is ridiculous. There's no cases in my area. And that's your whole MO right now, which it isn't, I hope. Then you just don't look like you're moving forward. You don't look like you're celebrating what you do. But if your whole perception of your path and your career is defined by what you are excited about, the things that are going to come next. Maybe it's simply as a simple matter of talking about how you're excited to take Danny's session in June, or Joanne's session in May, or James's session. That's showing progress. That's perceived progress. It's moving forward. It's moving upward. It's not going down. It's not staying flat. While everyone else is stressed out, you're excited. You're moving. You're celebrating the things you've done. And how many of us get mad when we see a picture of like people gathered in a place? We're like, why are you posting that? And then like, oh yeah, hashtag when we weren't social distancing. Okay, got it. Because we're all very defensive about those pictures, right? How dare you? Why are you in someone's face? The Local 706 did an amazing thing, and we've reposted a lot of it, where a lot of the members were posting pictures of them on projects in the past, which is exactly what you should be doing. Hashtag when we weren't social distancing. Hashtag before social distancing. Hashtag I can't wait to get back to work. So let's celebrate that, because the power of perception is, you know who I want to partner with? You know who I want to consider for the Artist Summit stage? You know who I want to work with going forward? People who are excited and positive and moving forward and upward right now. Does that mean that you don't get to be honest? I said honesty is the best policy. You can say I'm afraid. You can say this fucking sucks, because it does fucking suck. It absolutely sucks. No one's going to say the break or the pause is great. We're going to say, what did I do during it? And the perception of what you're doing during it is what I'm going to remember. And the perception of when I shoot you a note and say, hey, Tammy, talk to me a little bit about what your plan is going forward. And Tammy goes, shit, I got no plan. I don't know when this is going to be over. That's not what Tammy said. I mean, Tammy literally sent me like 5 paragraphs. I was like, whoa, I need a drink and I'm going to read this later. But Tammy's got a plan. She's moving forward. Debbie has a plan. She's got stuff she's going to do until somebody can bring her back on a set. Because that's what people who are inspirational but also inspired are going to do. And that's why I had that goal program that I partnered you guys up with and said, connect with somebody, talk to somebody you don't know that well. So I'm going to use that power of perception piece one more time. And that's talking about the fact that the Powder Group has not canceled one program because of COVID-19. Not one program is canceled. Makeup 101 is going to be in August. If something happens and it can't happen, then we push it forward again. But we're making changes and doing the things that we have to do. September is the Artist, no, not the Artist Summit. That's 2021. September is Evolution instead of May. Elevation is October, like it was planned. Creative Exploration, postponed till 2021. Industry Intensive Beauty, Industry Intensive Stage and Screen, probably postponed to spring 2021. But everything is still there for you. The perception of me shutting things down that maybe you were looking forward to, maybe you didn't even know about yet, is that we can't handle this, that we can't get through this. But instead, what we're doing is we're saying, we got this. We're good, guys. No worries. I got you back. I got you back. You want to come in evolution? We're going to do evolution. Come on up to P-Town. Talking about the Artist Summit 2021 already with some folks. Because at the end of the day, I really hope that by October 2021, we are back to the real old normal. That we are gathering again in Provincetown the way we love to gather. So I want you to remember that, and I want you to, a task there, a really important task is, I want you to go through your social media. I know it sounds silly, but it's the main way we're communicating together today, right? I want you to go through all your social media. I want you to go through your Facebook posts. I want you to go through your Instagram posts, and I want you to ask yourself, how are other people seeing me right now? How are other people seeing me right now? Are they seeing me as someone who's uplifting and moving things forward and looking forward to when we get back to whatever the next and the new normal will be? Or are they seeing me as somebody who has a blanket pulled up and is waiting to see what happens? I am so proud of you guys, not only because you are so supportive of each other, but because you're taking care of yourselves and your families in such an important way. I am so proud of you guys that you're here and you're sitting with me and talking, and well, not really talking. I didn't let you talk. I'm talking at you, listening, just listening so well. And I'm really, really proud of the fact that this community is so much about getting past this together and moving forward together. So I want to say thank you again. I'm going to end. I promised myself I wouldn't take more than 90 minutes, even though I was going to try to stay within 60. But really 20 minutes of that was hanging out and chatting with Danny. And so I am not going to give you guys all the dates of the programs right now because I'm going to post those on TPG Pro and I'm going to send an email blast out. But I do hope that you can join us for them. All of our programs, just so you know, going forward, will have the chat function turned off because we want to make sure that this is a time for you to gather the content and the information. We might do some fun stuff where we keep it open and we can engage with each other, but all of the Powder Group Online stuff, we really want you to be able to concentrate and focus on what Eugenia and Alphonse and Stephanie and Danny and all these folks have to say. So I'm excited for those. Keep an eye on it. You have the email. It's gettingnext@thepowdergroup.com. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback on today's session, I would love to hear from you. And just so you know, I am actually going to be doing Getting Next as an ongoing program that will be a paid program, very inexpensive, that will be short, small groups of folks that will be able to engage. And we're going to take the same kind of concept and process, and we're going to do it over a series of weeks, okay? So I look forward to seeing you guys all in the future in person for big hugs. Thank you for being with me. I'm going to end the meeting now. And thank you and take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Bye, guys. Thank you, Danny, Debbie, Matthias, everybody for being here. Thank you, Sarah. Bye, guys.